friends, this is Sarah. I'm going to read the story Cobby Goes for a Swim. Cobby Goes for a Swim is written by Rikey Austin. Will Cobby come home safely after his adventures? Let's see. Cobby Goes for a Swim. Cobby and his boy were on a boat trip. The boy, whose name was Tom, was having a lovely time watching a pair of dolphins who had come to play around the boat. But Cobby was not enjoying himself. He was too small to see over the side of the boat. So you can see how Cobby is trying to look out into the sea. He too wants to see the dolphins that are jumping around, but he's too tiny. He waved his arms, hoping to be noticed, but he wasn't. He jumped up and down, but still nobody noticed. He climbed up to the rail and peered excitedly over to see a dolphin leap into the air right in front of him, showering everybody with gem-like drops of seawater. Cobby clapped his hands in joy. What an adventure! So Cobby is so happy to see the dolphin jumping. Cobby fell head over heels. Splash! The first thing he saw when he came splattering to the surface was a big orange buoy. Cobby paddled toward it and clung on tightly. Luckily, the sea was quite calm. Now what, he thought. Then he said to himself, I'll shout. But the boat was sailing away and no one could hear him calling. He was, after all, a little bear with a very little voice. A seagull landed on the boy and pecked at him to see if he was good to eat, and then flew away again. He was sure they were little fishes nibbling on his toes. Then he heard a noise behind him. Now what, he was thinking again as he turned around. What he saw surprised him so much he almost let go of the boy. It was a dolphin swimming alongside a pretty little rowing boat. Well, what do we have here? Chuckled the man at the oars. The world-famous lobster pot thief? And he laughed gently. Cobby sighed. He was not in the mood for jokes and was quite tired of his adventure already. His paws were cold. He was covered in seaweed, and he had a nasty feeling that he had torn a hole in his favorite dungarees. The fisherman leaned over and picked him up by the ear. Goodness, you weigh a ton, said the man as he dumped him in the bottom of the boat. Cobby was not surprised. He had felt the cold seawater soaking slowly into his stuffing for some time. A crab in a lobster pot in the bottom of the boat nipped at him. Cobby sighed deeply and his chin began to wobble. The fisherman leaned down and patted him gently with one rough brown hand. It's okay, little bear. I know just the people to take care of you, he said as he lifted him up onto a seat. So luckily the fisherman took him. The fisherman pulled in the rest of his pots, then rowed steadily back towards the land. The fisherman took the dripping bear to Alicesbearshop, which is just a stone's throw from the beach. Alice and her mum were famous in the town. From all around, children and grown-ups brought poorly bears to Alicesbearshop, knowing that Alice could make them better. Alice immediately wrote out a sign to put in the window while her mum filled a bowl with warm soapy water. This is what the sign said. Found, bear lost at sea, soggy but safe, apply within. Alice washed his dungarees and found a patch for the knee while the little bear was sat on the radiator to dry. See how Cobby is sitting and he's getting dried? Some time later, Alice felt his paws to see how dry he was and lifted him down. Don't be sad, said Alice. You're a lovely bear and I'm sure that your boy will come soon. Cobby shook his head sadly. He'll never think to look here, and I have had such a dreadful adventure. Nonsense. Everybody knows that this is where the lost bears come, said Alice kindly. She hugged him while he wiped a tear from his cheek. Why don't you tell me what happened? The little bear began leaping about and acting out his part. In his story, the sea was stormy. The gull became an eagle, the fishes sharks, and the kindly fisherman a pirate. But the funny thing was that, as he told his story, he began to giggle. And by the time he told Alice about the crab in the pot, which he described as a monstrous lobster, she was hugging her belly and rolling with laughter. The shop bell rang and in came a worried-looking boy. It was Cobby's boy. He saw Cobby straight away and his face lit up. Cobby, you're here. I thought I'd lose you forever. Tom hugged his bear close. Cobby was definitely a love-to-bits bear. Before they left Alicesbearshop, Alice handed Tom a backpack. You might carry him in this, she said. A curious bear like that can get into all kinds of trouble if he can't see what's going on. This is Alicesbearshop. Would you like to go there?